56-7. That works. That's got to feel good. Celebrate and also get ready for Michigan. Another big night game in Lincoln at Memorial Stadium on Saturday night with the 5-0 Wolverines coming to town. Nebraska, Michigan. That sounds good. Sounds like it could be a great one. We got Greg Peterson, of course, on the line. He makes this show happen, our Nebraska live show each and every week here at the Voice of College Football, Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Time. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Mark. How's it going?
How's it going?
Hey.
I'm good.
Yeah, we're still enjoying a little bit of dose of reality of what Nebraska fans have been waiting to see. So all's good right now.
Absolutely. That I can't say that I predicted that to happen or saw it coming, but at the same time, it didn't surprise me. When you got a team that I think in this case has been building and building and building toward that kind of performance, and once they got it kicked into gear, it probably they just kind of let go and let out a lot of frustrations. And on the other side, Northwestern, we've seen better Northwestern teams in the past.
Absolutely. I mean, it really was the coming of two, like a warm front and a cold front coming together. If we want to talk a little bit about weather, Nebraska with the frustrations that they've had, because Nebraska knows they're a good team and believes they should be 6-0 right now, and Northwestern, quite frankly, they're not very good. I mean, just seeing them in person and up close like that, they're not. I feel sorry for Pat Fitzgerald right now because he's a proud guy and he just doesn't have the guys right now. I mean, they were decimated by the transfer portal and graduations and everything. So, but Nebraska came to play and I think they needed that. That was a big relief, and not just for the team but for the fan base. Because I'm not worried about the team at all. They know they're good. I mean, the confidence has never been lacking, and it's just oozing out right now. And they expect to beat Michigan this Saturday night. And what went on this past Saturday night in Lincoln, the atmosphere was just electric, and you just couldn't ask for anything more than what happened there. And I think this momentum carries on, and I would be I'd be a little bit worried if I'm Jim Harbaugh right now to see what you're getting yourself into. But on the flip side, I mean, Nebraska knows that they're going to face their toughest opponent of the year right now, and Oklahoma is included in that. So, it's what we've been waiting for. It's just a big release right now, and now it's time to get down to the grindstone and show the rest of the country now, again in prime time, which, like I just mentioned, the atmosphere was electric at night. Nebraska's kind of come up with a third quarter, fourth quarter switch over theme, kind of like which Wisconsin does with their jump around, and Nebraska kind of. I think they're a little bit late coming in on the storm on this. They did Thunderstruck by AC/DC, and kind of ironic that a friend of mine called me tonight and was saying that he just realized that Scott Frost's first game here at Nebraska against Akron actually got canceled because of lightning and thunder. So pretty cool thing that happened there on Saturday night in Lincoln, and I was really proud to be a part of it and be down there on the field.
I think the fan base is energized. You just mentioned it, and I think it's signified by the folks in the live chat here. We've already got a stack of comments and questions coming in, so we will get to them in just a second. Appreciate everybody being here. Got some super chats that I need to catch up with as well, so we will recognize those. We thank you so much for that. Got Greg Peterson, Husker Online, here from for the next hour, talking Nebraska football, of course. Again, 56-7 over Northwestern. Should be a heck of a game on Saturday night with Michigan in town to take on the Huskers. The Wolverines are 5-0 after beating Wisconsin at Camp Randall Stadium. So they exercised some of their own frustrations. They hadn't won at Wisconsin since 2001. 5 losses there and some pretty bad butt kickings the last few times at Wisconsin. So they made amends for that. One quick note on Northwestern. Yes, Pat Fitzgerald, that program they'll be fine. But yeah, this group is they run one of those kind of programs that they're not going to hit it every year. They're just not going to have that kind of talent influx year to year to be able to do it. And they just kind of got hit from all directions. As you mentioned, the transfer portal, you see some really good Northwestern players showing up at other spots across the country. They had, for the first time in team history, had 2 first-round NFL draft selections this year. They just built that beautiful new facility that you've talked about, and the program's good. They've won the West twice in the last 3 years. We don't need to feel sorry for them. They'll be fun. But yeah, they were not able to compete with this crew on Saturday. 657 yards of total offense. Wow.
Yeah, it was shocking, actually. I mean, this is what we were used to back in the 80s and the 90s, coming out of Nebraska on the offensive side. And I mean, just from the first play of the game, it started out. Adrian Martinez hit Samori Torre for, a 70-some yard gainer. And, it was on from there. And it was crazy because my vantage point, during these games is I'm in the end zone. I am right there on the end zone, the back of the end zone line, and Nebraska's coming at me the whole game. And my colleagues next to me, we were all shocked how that first quarter just unfolded. It was just Nebraska up and down the field, and the physicality just showed. And that goes to say what we just talked about Northwestern. They just didn't have the bodies anymore, and unfortunately, a lot of them kept dropping during the game too. Nebraska just beat down Northwestern with and they were mad. I mean, Nebraska played angry, and that's the way the game turned out.
They probably still remember some of those close losses.
Yeah, no more. Yeah, that game has always been decided in a 1-score game, and Nebraska said no more.
Moonbot. Got Moonbot here. So the comment here is, let the Yantee eat, baby. Be proud of that, and hope he can only keep building off this great performance that he had. And Greg's going to show you here, and I'll give you a little treat as well. Nice. Look at that. There's the official shirt right there. The Yantee. Jacquez, 13 carries for $127, 64-yard touchdown run, or 64-yard run. Yes.
Yeah, wow. Great story, and Moonbot deserves all the credit here because he actually emailed me on Sunday telling me that the shirts were mailed on Thursday, and the shirts actually got here Saturday morning. So all of a sudden there was Yantee shirts in the house, and guess what happened? He got to play and made his statement, and we actually didn't talk to him again. He was in studio with us on Sunday. Great interview. You got to go check that out on Husker Online video there on YouTube here. If you haven't seen it yet, we had 5 of the Husker standouts from the game in studio, and Jacquez was one of them, and great story with him, and Moonbot nailed it, and Jacquez just loved the shirts. He's pumped up, and it was funny too because after the game, I mean we've never talked to Jacquez once, and I noticed after the game was over when the players were going off the field, I actually noticed one of the sports information people here at Nebraska, Seamus McKnight, went over to Jacquez and grabbed him, and I saw him talking to him in his ear, and I knew he was saying that, would you like to come to the post-game press conference? And he said, yeah, and he tapped him on the shoulder. So Jacquez got his first taste of the media here in Lincoln, and I went and grabbed him after he stepped away from the podium, and I showed him Moonbot's pictures of the T-shirts and got him all pumped up, and I hooked him up there on Sunday, and Jacquez walked out of the studio wearing that Yantee T-shirt very proudly.
I don't know how to download these. I don't know how to
Oh, you can't get the pictures?
these pictures.
Oh, okay.
Like right clicking doesn't do anything, doesn't give me any options, and I copied the message, but
I should have emailed. I should have just emailed.
I don't know. I thought I could I thought I would just be able to right click and download and go from there on these pictures. Greg sent me some pictures of him and the Auntie and the t-shirts.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
But anyway, let me if you haven't heard the story and everything about Jacquez as a walk on and earned himself a scholarship, and we haven't seen him play much. He's had a couple of carries in a game so far, and he blew up this spring. That's why Moonbot that's when Moonbot fell in love with him, and had a great spring, but then he came back to fall camp heavy, and like at 25 pounds heavy. And so Coach Frost told him that you're not gonna be in the mix until you lose some weight. And a couple of weeks ago, the light turned on, and he dropped about 20 pounds. And you see the result of that. He's pretty light on his feet for a big man, and if the rest of the people could see the pictures of me and Jacquez together, I look like a midget next to him. But man, he came out and he showed. And the funny thing is, we had him in studio, and he is the nicest guy, very, very witty. And we asked him, what was that one go-to fast food meal, drive home from the stadium fast food meal that you had to give up to lose the weight? And he said 100% Raising Cane's, chicken fingers. And after they joked about it a little bit, then he said, yeah, if you want to gain weight, that's the place to go to eat at. So, yeah, he just made a couple of life decisions and changed himself up. You can't even tell if he was 20 pounds heavier, because he's already an athletic dude and pretty cut up. And you see, I mean, he just runs through people. And Nebraska's defense, how good they are, everybody knows how good this Nebraska defense is, and they play against this guy day in and day out. And not one of them likes to have to go up against Jacquez Yant and have to tackle him, because that's what he does. He powers over you, and he stiff arms you, and he jukes you. And Nebraska might have a diamond in the rough here that a lot of other schools ended up missing out on because they couldn't stay with him.
Man, I am still struggling with this. Hang on. I cannot do anything with it on the computer that I use to do the broadcast, but I've got my laptop right here, and that can download the pictures. I don't know what the difference is. They're both Macs, but this one is able to. So I'm sending out a tweet right now with the picture there. So hopefully more people can join us and see the picture and be like, what's going on there?
Well, and also, I think I gotta credit Moonbot here. I think Moonbot is the Yantees' good luck charm here too, because what kind of a coincidence is that the shirts arrive on the day that he breaks out? Just crazy stuff going on here, and I'm gonna have to throw Moonbot some credit on that one.
Okay, absolutely, he made it happen. He made it happen. Let's see if I can. I don't know what it is with that picture, but I can't do anything with the computer that I use for the show, so I can't do anything. But I at least was going to send out a tweet with the picture, and it says that it's downloaded, but it's grayed out. It won't be added to the tweet. It's all grayed out. I can't get it to save.
Technology, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, it's way beyond me. That's for sure. My bad. All right. Moonbot, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Let's get to some of these super chats because I always hate when I miss these, and we get very few on the Nebraska show. Hint, hint. Folks, if you'd like to contribute to keep us going here at the Voice of College Football Nebraska, keep the Nebraska show going, you can do that two basic ways in terms of this kind of contribution. Of course, here on the Super Chat, appreciate that for two people that have chimed in tonight. And also Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. Just search Mark Rogers TV, Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. Would just like to know that it's for the Nebraska show. So we got Crypto King. Hopefully things have been good to you in the crypto market there, Crypto King. Nebraska wins 21-3. Yanty will have several long runs. 3.
Yeah, I like that, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I mean, you've got probably two of the most physical teams in the country that are going to butt heads, and I expect something more like
maybe something like that, Greg. John says Nebraska 24, Michigan 17 should be a battle in the trenches.
Yeah, more like something like that. I was thinking 24-21 kind of a game, and it's kind of funny because Jim Harbaugh has never been to Lincoln with his team, and who knows what's going to happen. Michigan has not had to play a quarterback like Adrian Martinez. They have not gone up yet against a team that is physical as Nebraska and with the defense playing at such a high level. So it's going to be a battle. And yeah, I don't see Nebraska running away with anything. I see this, going right down to the wire and maybe end up in overtime. The way these two teams are playing right now, it's gonna be a bloodbath, is what I'm expecting. And by the way, I just did email those to your email. I don't know if you got them or not.
Thank you. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss if there's another super chat in there, which I believe there is. Crypto King came back.
I don't think that Jacquez will actually be the official starter. I think that still is Ramir Johnson, because I think they've got a little something going now, and it's kind of funny because, like I mentioned earlier, we had both Jacquez and Ramir in studio on Sunday, and Ramir was already calling themselves Thunder and Lightning combo. So I think that's what you're going to look at. Ramir Johnson will be the starting running back, but the Yantee will be right in there behind him, and they're going to switch off carries like that. And it's kind of weird how Marquise Stepp is all of a sudden kind of like the forgotten man in the rotation as things are going.
Appreciate those contributions, John and Crypto King. Thank you so much for that. Alan, always encouraging everyone to hit the like button. Please do that before you get settled. Take in the conversation, hit the like button, and grab 3 or 4 or 10 or 50 people and bring them on in here for the rest of the show tonight and next week. Let's build up the audience here on our Huskers live show. We appreciate over 100 on the line right now. Yeah, the defense was amazing in this game. And as it has been for pretty much the entire season, especially after the Illinois game, and shut down Michigan State, took it to Oklahoma, although the Sooners are having their issues with pretty much everybody. They haven't scored the kind of points that they're used to, but Nebraska played an exceptional defensive game against them, even when the offense put them in a bind. And now it's been 3 consecutive, more than solid to spectacular defensive showings.
Yeah, it's a unit that is just playing at a spectacularly high level right now. The whole group of them deserves to have a black shirt on them the way that these guys are playing, and it's such a confident bunch of guys, guys that won't even blame other parts of the special teams or the offense for losses. I mean, all they do is step up and say, "Hey, we could have done better," and they did give up a drive there to Northwestern early in the game, which that really upsets them that they did that. But they turned things around again with a JoJo Doman comes up with a forced fumble. DeAndre Thomas recovers, and the game was over after that. Northwestern didn't have any answer to them, and I'll tell you that I've already talked. I told Quentin Newsom this on Sunday. My observations from my vantage point, like I said, I'm in the end zone, and I have never ever seen. I mean, Northwestern came out from snap number one completely scared of Nebraska's pass rush and their front seven, and immediately just took two steps and got rid of the ball. I've never seen a quarterback get rid of the ball so fast that Helinski was doing, and I could generally see fear in Northwestern because of Nebraska's defense, and it just wasn't working for him either because Nebraska's secondary and linebackers were ready for it and all over it. I mean, he was completing his quick throws like that, but there was a defender right there on the receiver almost every play. And then, the one time that they turn their shoulder, JoJo Doman comes in and gets a huge sack, and it was on. I mean, the black shirts, you could see the snot dripping out of their nose and the drool coming out of the sides of their mouth. They were hungry and they wanted to eat.
Our guy Desmond is in the live chat, and it was my intent to simulcast this also to the Michigan channel, as I typically do, if I remember that we've got, with our number of team channels, if we've got the same opponent and two teams playing, that we've got team channels for, that we simulcast across the board, as we did with the Oklahoma game, but I forgot and I wasn't able to add it. Again, technology, they wouldn't let me add it and edit the simulcast, but our guy Desmond hosts our Michigan show over there on the Michigan channel, and I joined him on Wednesday, so we'll be over there if you want to talk to the enemy on Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern time on the Michigan channel.
I'm available. Bring me in.
Okay, we'll bring you in.
Wednesday's my day off.
Wednesday, okay. It's 5 Eastern, so 4 your time. We'll bring you in for the tail end of it if that works for you.
I'm good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Desmond, my apologies. We didn't bring you in for this show. I got to keep that in mind all the time. I think about it. Sometimes it hits me, but especially now that we're in conference season, this is going to be happening all the time where we've got the crossover. It's good stuff. All right. All right. We got somebody who wants Adrian Martinez to come back next season, shoot for a Heisman. Let's see.
Well, we've seen Adrian Martinez lately showing the flair and the athleticism that we've been waiting to see, that we talked about coming into the year as well. So, Adrian Martinez is right up there at the top of the nation in production right now at the quarterback position.
Yes, he is. I was checking out the numbers today. Yes, he's played very efficient football, and he's getting outside of contain and breaking down the defense a number of times. Heard him talk the other day about the option play that they've really been working on with 7 or 8 different players, where the speed, the reps, they're really the spacing, they've worked it out, and they feel real comfortable that they've added something to the offense that a lot of teams don't get to see.
Absolutely. And they're getting a lot of guys involved with that, and that option is something that they've been working on a lot and a lot more, because it's a nice little wrinkle that, quite frankly, a lot of teams don't practice against anymore. And, they're finding other guys to get involved with that, like Xavier Betts with a huge touchdown run to start the second half of the game, and with an end around that, he's been doing his whole high school career. And things are just clicking in a way where Coach Frost, Coach Lubick have got their offensive weapons in place and being able to do the kind of things that they've envisioned in this offense going forward. And now you're starting to see when it all works and it all comes together, good things happen. And you know what, we haven't even touched on the changes they made on the offensive line that completely solidified things on the offensive side of the ball and let Nebraska run up the most yards they've ever had in a Big Ten game since they've joined the Big Ten. And if things can keep happening, and the changes that I'm talking about is true freshman Teddy Prohaska came in and started at left tackle, and walk-on Nuri Newellen, former Colorado State starter, came in at left guard, and they both had tremendous games. And you saw that all those mistakes on the offensive line, they kind of went away until they brought in the second team when the game was already out of hand. And you move Turner Corcoran over to the right side, and all of a sudden this line is clicking. And the only two guys that you had still playing the same positions were Cameron Jurgens at center and Matt Sickerman. They're at right guard, and those guys adjusted very well to things, and the offensive line just opened up hole after hole, and Greg Austin today even told us that he put together 20-some odd plays for the offensive line to watch that were from practice during the week and to the game, and things worked out perfectly. Any mistakes they had made during practice, they corrected during the game, and you saw the effect of it. So, right now this offense has gotten a hold of things, and when you eliminate those mistakes and putting yourself back in holes and everything, you kind of see how electric things can be. And Adrian Martinez has the rest of the season here to show the rest of America that he actually is that kind of guy that had that hype coming in to a sophomore season.
Greg, who's the first player that you mentioned, the freshman along the offensive line?
Oh, Teddy Prohaska.
Prohaska.
Yeah.
Because you talked a lot about him during the offseason when he got signed.
Yeah, he was Rivals 100 kid, 6'9", coming out of high school, and graduated early from Elkhorn South here in Nebraska, and came in here, as a freshman last year, and is still a true freshman because of COVID, actually. And, we saw him, Nebraska brought him in and used him as a tight end a couple of weeks ago. And, he's gotten more and more playing time, and obviously his red shirt's off the table now because he's a starter now as a true freshman. And, we've talked about him several times that Coach Frost was amazed by the development of him and how mature he was and how quickly he was ready to play Division I football. And look at him now. He's starting, and I couldn't be happier for a guy. Really, I couldn't.
Mustrix here and makes a good point here. I think this is valid. I think we have been in more tough games than Michigan has. In other words, I feel like we might be better prepared, compare schedules. So I'll compare the schedules. This is my take on it, that even though the record doesn't show it, Wisconsin's probably still the best team Michigan's played. I still think they're probably better than Rutgers, even though the Scarlet Knights are 3-2 and the Badgers are 1-3. So we know that this is not a great Wisconsin team. This is not even a good Wisconsin team by their standards, but they still have a tremendous defense. But, man, they've got all sorts of issues on offense, and Michigan took care of them in the second half. Really good game for the first half. Michigan scored on a 56-yard pass play to open up the second half and then kind of rode it from there. Rutgers played Michigan really well in the second half. They got outplayed, got down by 3 scores early, made it a 1-score game, 20-13 final. Rutgers played them close. Those are probably the two best teams that Michigan's played, because Washington hasn't turned out to be anything close to their preseason top 25 ranking. They lost to Montana. They just lost another Pac-12 game over the weekend. They're like 1-4, 2-3. Whereas Nebraska's played Oklahoma, which is not playing well, but is still one of the top 10 or 15 teams in the country. Yeah, they're loaded. They're tremendous. They're talented. They're just not playing at their best. But they're not playing at their best, and they're still 5-0. Michigan State's a top 15 team in the country. So there's two teams right there that
both had to play both of them on the road.
Both of them on the road. And I'm going to say that Nebraska should have beaten Michigan State. I didn't necessarily come away from the Oklahoma game thinking I thought that they could have beaten Oklahoma.
They were right there. Yeah, they were right there.
Things could have happened that
they gave it away. They gave it away in East Lansing. Definitely.
Yeah, but more so that they gave it away against Michigan State, more so that they played Oklahoma really close, but still that Oklahoma was probably better. And then on top of that, who am I missing? Well, the Northwestern team is probably the worst in the Big Ten.
Buffalo, but I mean,
and Buffalo's a decent MAC team.
Yeah.
And where Michigan, other than those two that I just mentioned, Washington would be 3. Western Michigan's a good team, actually, that Michigan beat, and they beat them pretty badly. That Western Michigan team turned around and beat Pitt, and they're 4-1. So they beat a pretty good MAC team. And
Michigan, the only thing they've had to overcome is they had to go to Camp Randall, and they knocked out starting quarterback in the first quarter, and it was kind of on from there. So coming in right now, the atmosphere in Memorial Stadium right now, it's going to be I think Michigan's got to be a little bit just take a step back. I'm not going to say they're going to be intimidated, but they're coming up against a team that is really hungry and has been waiting for an opportunity like this to knock off a top 10 team. And this is going to be I'm expecting this to probably be the loudest game that I've ever been at because that's just the way things are shaping up. And like we talked about just a touch earlier, is that Michigan's not seen an offense like this. They've not played against a quarterback like this. The best quarterback they've played against was a guy that was here that left because he couldn't beat out the starting quarterback here. So, Michigan better come to play. And I'm not saying they're not going. I'm not going to say they're they're going to overlook this game at all. But this is not the same old Nebraska that they've played since we've joined the Big Ten, and Nebraska's they're not intimidated anymore. They know that they've got what it takes to beat anybody on their schedule, and I'm including Ohio State in that conversation right now as well.
All right, I'm not necessarily going to back up those words. I'm not going to go there myself. I think it's possible, but
it's possible. But I'm just going off of the vibe that I get from talking to the players and the coaches, and these guys do not expect to lose to anybody, and that's the attitude you need to have to be successful. And I have really seen a vast change in the culture here just lately. After that Illinois game, things seemed really, really, really bad. But then you bounce back with a couple of, I don't want to say cupcakes, but there was one cupcake in there. But and then you go to hit the road for 2 games against ranked teams, and you come out of there with your head held high, even though you lost. And then you beat up a Northwestern team, and right now it's. I mean, there could be a coming storm here. That's all I'm saying. I mean, that's just kind of the vibe that I'm feeling right now with everybody that's involved with the program.
Yeah, so for anybody that's not really paying attention, they're going to say Michigan's, I don't know what the latest rankings are. They're roughly in the top 10. They're right around there.
They're 9 in the AP and 8 in the coaches.
Okay. I don't take that into account too much, but anyway, they're a top 10 team.
You're talking about 2 of only 9 teams in college football history that have over 900 wins. So this is the kind of game that this is college football. I mean, this is what it's made of. This is 2 blue blood programs.
Yep.
Button heads that are in the same conference but don't play each other every year. I mean, this is another one of those games where you could go think you could throw out there that you're in the same conference. This should be a game that is played every year. Like we've talked about with Nebraska, Oklahoma. Obviously, that game should be played every year. Nebraska, Ohio State should be played every year. That's just the way it should be in my book.
I think that's kind of difficult to work out logistically.
Yeah. I mean, this is in my fantasy world, okay, where everything would be perfect. I mean, and Penn State, Nebraska would play every year. Vice versa, all those programs would play each other every year, no matter what side of the conference they're on. But that's neither here nor there.
So, yeah, my take is basically, as I started to say, that on the surface, for somebody not paying attention, this would appear to be a Michigan win because they're 5-0 and they're a top 10 team in the country, whereas Nebraska's 3-3. That's all you look at, but that's of course not all there is to it. We've already seen more ranked teams lose in the first 5 weeks of the college football season than any college football season in history. Again, Nebraska's been tested by much more difficult competition. Michigan's schedule's more backloaded. They still have to see Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, Nebraska, and they have yet to be tested. Now, I'm going to be curious with this improved Nebraska offensive line taking on a Michigan front. Aiden Hutchinson is one of the best players in the country.
He's a beast. Oh, yeah.
And Josh Ross at linebacker is a tremendous player. Daxton Hill's one of the best defensive backs in the Big Ten, if not the country. Junior Colson, my Michigan people had told me that he was even above J.J. McCarthy, that their recruiting people thought at Rivals and elsewhere the best player that they signed, and he has had a tremendous freshman year as well. So just the personnel battles, the matchups are going to be tremendous. And I think Vegas shows you what they really think of this game, of course, beyond the person walking down the streets. Michigan's 5-0. They're in the top 10. Nebraska's not beating anyone. Why is this going to be again? Well, Vegas tells us it's a 3 or 4 point spread. So they think it's going to be close.
Hey, they're right. I mean, it's going to be a close game. There's no way Nebraska does not play a close game the rest of this year. That Illinois thing was a little bit of an anomaly, but yeah, Vegas knows what they're talking about, and basically this is a pick'em game there because they're giving Michigan that home field advantage because it's and it's being played in Lincoln. Basically, is what Vegas is telling you. So it could go either way, and I don't think anybody should be surprised if Nebraska wins or if Michigan wins. So it's going to be. I think I am very excited for this game. I think it's going to be a classic, to tell you the truth.
Dewey's not worried at all.
I like Dewey's. I like the way he's thinking, but we Michigan's a pretty darn good team. You're talking, like we said, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be two physical teams just button heads the whole night.
I think this conference is really strong.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to come down to a couple of big plays, one way or the other. Otherwise, this is going to be a running game, a down in the trenches, dirty game, and grind it out. Put your hard hat on for this one.
Moonbot is handing out straight A's, offense, defense, and special teams even.
Hey, special teams actually, you can grade them high because they didn't make any mistakes. You got Oliver Martin back finally in the lineup, who was back there at the punt return spot and made sure that he made every fair catch there that he had to. And he came up about 20 yards on a punt that was short that he came up and made a great fair catch on. So, hey, no mistakes there. Maybe he could have returned a couple, but it's neither here nor there. But then you end up with an 84-yard punt, longest punt or tied the longest punt ever inside Memorial Stadium, which was pretty cool after all the punting problems that Nebraska had there at Michigan State, which pretty much cost them the game. And special teams. It's funny how when there's no mistakes there and you don't actually notice that, special teams was one of those things that you point at for losing a game, that things go well that way. So defense, absolutely an A. And there really weren't any more mistakes. The offense, like I said, the offensive line was very clean up until the point where the game was already over with, and some reserves had come in. So that's a pretty good grade, actually.
So I was online with a Michigan guy today, so everybody be looking out for that video. He tells me, I don't know where he found this, he said that Nebraska had the worst net punting average in the country.
Yeah, I think they did. I think I heard that as well. And there's one way to change that. That's with an 84-yarder. So actually, I think Pristup's I think his numbers were pretty good there for the day on the net side.
All right. It's sometimes my role. I got to play devil's advocate.
From 1 week he had a 7-yard punt to the next week he had an 84-yard punt. So there you go.
And I also included in their net punting because, so for example, at Michigan State, when he punts it, whatever he punted it, 40 yards, but they bring it back 62.
Yeah. That's not good.
That doesn't help.
No.
Lewis, so I started to say that it's my role on here sometimes to push back and play devil's advocate. So Lewis is a Michigan fan. He is pointing out that this was Northwestern, for Pete's sake, on Saturday.
We already pointed out how bad Northwestern is. Yeah, guarantee you.
So I'll half agree with that because it was Northwestern, and I was thinking that Illinois was the worst team in the Big Ten, but now I believe that Northwestern's the worst team in the Big Ten. But Northwestern isn't losing to other teams 56-7.
Yeah.
And I do believe that Michigan's a really good team. If somebody held a gun to my head right this second, of course, I've got whatever it is, 3 or 4 days to make a prediction on this game. I would take Michigan, but I may pull the trigger on an upset because I think it's close to a 50-50 game.
Yeah, and I can't, I can't speak for, the way Michigan's feeling, the Michigan players and coaching staff's feeling going into this game. I can only tell you the way the Nebraska players and coaches are feeling going into this game. And, confidence is just oozing right now. So
this is what I'll say. What I'll say about Michigan is I do think that they broke a big barrier and hurdle for them on Saturday, even though Wisconsin's down. And this is the worst Wisconsin team probably since fill in the blank, that they hadn't gone to Camp Randall Stadium and won. Not only had they not won, the last couple times they've been there, they just got bloodied. They just, 28-0 at half, game over. And they hung in there, and they didn't win a 16-13 game. They decidedly broke free, and I think that was a big deal for them. The other thing is that nobody's run on Wisconsin this year, and Michigan didn't run on Wisconsin very effectively, but everybody's been stopped stone cold running the football in Wisconsin this year. Michigan at least moved it a little bit. At least it was effective enough to allow for the passing game. And they had to turn to their passing game, and Michigan's been criticized all year for throwing like 10 or 11 passes per game and being very conservative. And they broke free with 3 touchdown passes, threw for 260 yards. So they made some plays in the passing game, and I think it was a positive outing for Michigan.
That's what you do, though. You adjust. You adjust to your opponent. That's where they were going to be able to strike at Wisconsin. So. It's hard to say. I think another aspect that we're not touching on either is that you've got 2 programs kind of in the same, I don't want to say zone, but you've got 2 head coaches that have been taking a lot of heat. 2 head coaches that are actually former quarterbacks of the team that they coach right now, that are going head to head right now. The last time that these two teams played each other was 2018 in Ann Arbor, and Michigan just destroyed Nebraska 56-10. And but ever since Scott Frost has got here, both Scott Frost and Jim Harbaugh in that time frame have really been under the gun to produce. And obviously we all know about Michigan and Ohio State. That's their big thing. And, with Nebraska, it's just trying to be relevant, basically, and win those games that you should be winning. And something's going to give here, and I think it's just going to be kind of an incredible night in my mind, with all the factors going into this game. And, it's a toss-up who's going to win this game in my mind, but I just think it's going to be a fabulous game.
So here's my one, I will call it a concern in this, or something that needs to be proven to me, is that Nebraska's played, we ran down Oklahoma and Michigan State, 2 impressive performances on the road, outplayed Michigan State, possibly outplayed Oklahoma, depending on your vantage point. Could have won either game, should have won the Michigan State game. I'm trying to think of the best team that Nebraska has beaten since Scott Frost has been the head coach. I got to see them break through and win one of those.
Yeah, it's hard to point at one. I mean, the Michigan State win in the snow might be the biggest one here in Lincoln, in my mind. So yeah, you're still searching for that signature win under Scott Frost. And I mean, you wanted it, a couple years ago, you were looking for Colorado to be that game, that win. And this year it was Oklahoma. And I mean, every year it's Ohio State when you play them. And so this would definitely be the biggest win in the Scott Frost era, hands down. And it almost sounds this year like we're saying that almost week in and week out.
Yeah, so Scott Frost took over in 2018, right?
2018.
18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, 4th year. The Minnesota team that they beat in 2018 after they were 0-6 might be the best team that they beat. That team won a bowl game over Georgia Tech, that Minnesota team, and they beat Michigan State. That Michigan State team went 7-6, went to a bowl game. I think they lost to Oregon in a Red Box Bowl. That team's best 2 games were taking Iowa to the wire, a last-second field goal, and taking Ohio State and Columbus to the wire, a team that went 13-1, won the Rose Bowl, and finished number 3 in the country. 2019, they really didn't beat anyone of significance there. And then, of course, last year they actually beat a really good team that had a bad season, and that's, of course, Penn State. Right. Penn State showing that this year.
Yeah, we won't count that COVID season in with that.
Great. We got 231 people on the line. Where have all these people been?
Hey, you know what? When you win, things change.
What it is.
Just win, baby. That's what we want.
Folks, everybody hanging out with us tonight. Bring some more people in with you next week. Win or lose, but we're going to believe for a Nebraska win. I'll be on board with that until I change colors on Wednesday and I do the Michigan show. No, I'm always neutral. Do my best. Want you people to do well. I enjoy the college football conversation. So, but would love to build up this Nebraska show. Greg's here every week. He's done this 37 times with us, and without him, this show doesn't exist. So,
how long is that in dog years?
You go figure that out. That one's beyond me. Never me mind. I appreciate the compliments, sir. Thank you so much for that. Lewis thinks everyone's insane. Again, Lewis is a Michigan fan, but that's what you're going to get, Lewis. You came into the Lion's Den, I guess, but it's all in good fun.
You need to get to Lincoln, Lewis. Come down Saturday night. We'll give you a good time.
I had somebody tell me that this week. This guy, I don't know where this guy came from. Sleepy Mark.
Sleepy Mark. Wow.
That's Sleepy Mark.
He looks like he's out.
Yeah, he was out.
Poor guy.
Low scoring game. Alan, thank you for continuing to let everyone know that they need to hit the like button. Trying to think. So this is a 7:30. Is this a Big Ten Network game? Who's doing this game? Do you know?
It is ABC.
Oh, it's an ABC game.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
It is actually on our partner KETV out of Omaha, Channel 7. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, finally, Huskers hit the big time.
I of course, there's no doubting the two brands, but I just didn't know that this was going to take off like that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, then we've already get deflated for next week because they already announced that Nebraska's game at Minnesota is that big noon kickoff. So yeah, we go right back to morning the week after. Which I will be in Reno, Nevada that weekend covering Nebraska's running back commit. So I actually have a flight at 5 a.m. out of Reno. Hopefully I get home in time to see a little bit of that Nebraska-Minnesota game.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, have a safe trip. So that's the next Saturday.
Yep.
And you got a
not to look ahead, not to pass over Michigan. Don't get me don't confuse me doing that. But I'm just looking at my schedule moving forward.
Yeah, when I say I want to see Nebraska pull through in one of these games, Michigan still, to me, has a lot to prove as well. They're going to be playing.
And Jay, Wisconsin was ranked last week, Jay. Just to set you straight on that one.
That this is going to be most likely, unless Wisconsin really pulls it together. They think they can make something out of their season, but most likely the way they're playing, Nebraska is the best team that's playing the best that Michigan's played this year.
I like some confidence here coming out of Husker fans.
Yeah, they are confident. Just took 1 week. This fan base is ready to explode. They've already kind of exploded.
Just imagine if they can knock off Michigan, what do we get next week? The things will be going nuts.
Yeah, because I don't want people thinking in this direction, but why not? Hey, we're just talking. The players and the coaches shouldn't think like this, but we can talk about this kind of stuff. If somebody can beat Iowa, well, of course, they're playing the third number 3 ranked team in the
3-4.
Saturday.
Game there, yeah.
Yeah. So Iowa loses that game. Nebraska's, of course, got 2 Big Ten losses. That's going to give Iowa 1. They're back in the race for the Western Division.
Very true.
Because if they can beat Iowa head-to-head, then they win the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. There's a lot of football still to be played. And
wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. The best thing that I've told several people, and I was saying this during the game, it's just nice to see people happy around here. Fans just loving it, staying for the whole game and into it, and people walking around with smiles on their faces now. It's pretty cool to see.
We have predictions from Greg and myself over on Patreon. So join us on Patreon, Voice of College Football Community. You get Greg's picks. You get 20 other media members. You get myself. I actually pick more than we got a 12-pack that we have a little competition on. And then I actually pick more games than that. So you get our predictions there on Patreon, MarkRogersTV. Just look it up there. But we'll give the folks a little slice of your prediction if you're ready to give one.
Well, I think I kind of called it earlier. I think 24-21 Nebraska. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That kind of a game.
Hey everyone, head on over to Husker Online here on YouTube. Check out all the video uploads that they deliver every day. Husker Online. What's on the platform right now?
Well, I mean, we've had a lot of other, things going on around here too. The basketball team just had their opening night Friday night, and they put on a show. And we were actually there again this morning for practice. They had their pro day, and I have never seen that many NBA scouts in one place in a long time. And there's more NBA scouts there today than I've seen NFL scouts for pro day lately around here. So, basketball season's getting underway with a team that might really be special. And high school football's wrapping up their regular season right now, and games are winding down. A kid from my alma mater, Lincoln East High School, just recently got a Nebraska offer the other day. His name's Malachi Coleman. He's a 6'6" wide receiver, rush end, and darn good looking kid. So, hopefully he ends up a Husker, another Lincoln East graduate that would join the Husker family. So, yeah, lots going on, and we're just gearing up for Michigan on Saturday night.
Nathan's on the line here asking in the live chat about the running back commit that you're going to see in Reno.
Now I feel stupid because I don't have his name on the tip of my tongue. His name is Ashton Hayes. He's a 3-star commit, like we talked about, out of Reno. And he is having Madden football game numbers this season right now. I'm not real sure about the talent that he plays against. I've never been to Reno in my life. This will be my first time. I am staying at Circus if anybody's interested in that I am going to try to enjoy myself a little bit while I'm in the biggest little city in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And Ashton knows I'm coming, and he's excited to see me after the game. And I'm looking forward to meeting him in person because seriously, don't really know much about him at this point because he does live in Nevada and I live in Nebraska. So, no, like I said, though, he's having a great year, big time year. And I think there's a lot of programs that have been trying to get after him that kind of missed on him right now. But as far as I know, he's completely solid with Nebraska.
So we know about the 2018 game, 56-10. Before that, the last time Michigan-Nebraska played was in 2013. Huskers won in Lincoln 17-13.
Yep.
And Huskers won in Lincoln in 2012, 23-9. I remember that game. I think they knocked out like 2 Michigan quarterbacks in that game. They won 23-9 in 2012. And, of course, 2011 was the first year in the Big Ten, and they lost at Ann Arbor 45-17. So it's a 2-2 split since Nebraska joined the Big Ten.
Yeah, an all-time series, Michigan leads 5-4 to 1 tie. So, and in Lincoln, Nebraska is 1-0-1. And that 1 tie was in 1912, by the way.
1912. Okay.
Yes.
I don't have a report on that game. I will say that I do remember
it was a 6-6 tie.
6-6 tie. Okay.
Yes.
The Yantee might have made a difference in that game.
Yes, I think the Yantee would have made a big difference in that game.
Might have been tough to
you would have broken a tackle or two, yes.
Some of those 160-pound linemen might have had trouble bringing him down.
Yeah.
I do remember the 1985 Fiesta Bowl. Michigan beat Nebraska 27-24, if I recall correctly. 2 top 5 teams in the country going at it.
Yeah, we tend to put those losses out of our memory here pretty quickly.
You don't remember that one? No?
I do.
All right, Crypto Badger back at it. We got Crypto King and Crypto Badger. We got the Nebraska crypto connection here going, but he believes this is going to be the loudest that stadium's been since Miami.
Yeah, and that's the one that I would compare to if I had to think of one. And I'm talking about in my tenure back here, working, covering the team. I mean, obviously, I've been to a lot of Nebraska games in my life, but that Miami game, he hits that right on the head, because that was another electric atmosphere. You had Amir Abdullah scoring a late touchdown, and Miami players trying to get in his face and Kenny Bell's face, and that was a pretty fun game to be at. And I think he's hit this right on the head, because after last week, this fan base is just hungry and just waiting to see their team play like that against a real football team.
So I don't know if I'm catching this correctly, because I get this request from time to time, but Swift Plugs would like me to live stream the game, meaning I, of course, don't live stream the game, but we do kind of a watch party. I've done those in the past, haven't done one this season. This might be the game to do it. Might get quite the audience together for Michigan and Nebraska. That's an idea. I might do that. I got a big Michigan channel. The Nebraska channel's doing well. That might be able to get together a nice watch party for that one. That's a good idea there, Swift Plugs. Might do that. And got another super chat that I want to recognize, of course. This is coming in from Crypto King. I'm guessing there was a good day in the crypto market, Greg, because Crypto King and Crypto Badger, they're kicking in here. So we appreciate it, Crypto King. Thank you so much for that.
Accounts. Let me know how I do that.
Yes, it's I've dipped my toe in a little bit, but that's about it. Who would have won? Like, we need to guess what Greg's going to say. Who would have won in 1997 between Nebraska and Michigan?
Well, who ended up number one that year? That's who I'm going with.
They split. That's the big controversy.
Well, yeah, but who got the trophy?
They split.
No, but the Sears Trophy is sitting here in Lincoln. It's not sitting in Ann Arbor.
Sears Trophy went to who? Who won the AP poll?
Yeah.
One of them won one, and one of them won the other. They split the national championship.
That's what the Sears Trophy goes to, the AP poll winner.
Okay.
And that's why
the coaches voted for Michigan.
Yeah, that's why it's sitting here in Lincoln. Yeah. So it would have been a good game to see. We'll just put it that way.
Absolutely. So here's my thought on it: is that, number one, maybe this is a conspiracy theory, but it seemed like every time there was a situation like that, 1990, Colorado, Georgia Tech, 91, Washington, Miami, I could go through a bunch of them. It seemed like it was almost like the polls got together and were like, you vote for Michigan, we'll vote for Nebraska, so it's fair, because they're both undefeated. They both play tough schedules, major conferences. It's not fair to elevate one over the other. It's just not, because
obviously, we see the flaw in the voting system that used to be there, that there were two separate polls like that actually, the outcome was determined by that. That's why there's a playoff now. So you could avoid those kind of controversies.
Crypto King, I will tell you that I can't unveil it right now, but I'm working on a project for people like you that are interested in those kind of debates and discussions. I'm working on a project right now to handle some of these things. What's that?
Do tell.
I will. I will at some point, but I love stuff like this.
There's a lot of analytics involved in this.
Yes, I love stuff like this. I love stuff like this. So I will say this. On the Michigan side, they played a slightly tougher schedule. But on the Nebraska side, they were much more impressive and dominant in their postseason game. They played Peyton Manning, Tennessee, a top 3 team in the country, and they just flattened them.
Yeah.
Michigan struggled in the Rose Bowl with Washington State and survived.
No, I mean, the beatdown that Nebraska gave Peyton Manning in that game showed the country that it turned everybody, besides the coaches poll, it turned everybody towards Nebraska on that, because that was a classic performance that, Tommy Frazier just played an incredible football game, and just the athleticism and stuff that they showed in that. I think that's what gave them that national championship.
Absolutely.
So, But
because
it would have been great. I mean, if there would have been a system worked out that if there were 2 undefeated teams at the end of the year, you should probably let those 2 guys play it out. But that's just not the way things were back then.
they would have played the next year.
Yeah.
1998 was the first BCS championship game.
Wow. Just think about that. Wow. What about that? Yeah. Oh, see, that's probably why things changed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Greg, it's always a fun time.
I mean, this is why we talk about this stuff. This is why, on this channel, at least, that we have this twice now this year that we can talk about Nebraska versus Oklahoma, Nebraska versus Michigan. Pretty cool stuff, really. If you think about it. So.
We're going to have some good ones coming up. So we'll have some good discussions. We got a really good Iowa guy, Iowa channel. We can get together on that. Ohio State, of course.
Yep. So
maybe I'll find my Minnesota guy. Got a Minnesota guy. You talk about an analytics guy. My goodness, this guy runs circles around me. I'm not an analytics guy. I find it interesting, but I'm no major on it. Crypto King kicking in here. Thank you so much for that. Why Tommy Frazier did not win the Heisman?
Because Eddie George did. No, I think he should have. I mean, I always say that. I even met Eddie George, and I told him that to his face. I thought Tommy should have won it. But yeah, I'm a little bit of a homer there. But Tommy Armstrong was just a special guy and battled so many adversities with his blood clot problems and everything. And in my mind, when I think of college football, if I can think of one play that I could call my favorite, is that touchdown run that Tommy Frazier had against Tennessee in that Fiesta Bowl. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. And I think that Heisman Trophy should have been his. But Nebraska's always got to battle a little bit of that East Coast bias, and Ohio State was a little bit more familiar to the East Coast voting population back then, and I think that's the outcome that you had. It was more of a stats thing than an actual performance type of a thing.
I don't think there's any question that if the Heisman Trophy was voted on after the entire season, after the postseason, that Tommy Frazier would have won it.
Yeah.
Because he had a spectacular bowl game, of course, and it was more important because Ohio State tripped up at the end against Michigan. They were head-to-head in regards to 11-0. Then the Buckeyes tripped up against Michigan, so they were out of the national title race at that point, and of course Nebraska won it. So he would have won it at that point, but it, of course, is voted on after the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, you throw, Tommy Frazier and Ndamukong Suh both should have won a Heisman Trophy in my book.
And Ndamukong Suh, his year was like 2009, right?
Was it that late, or was it a little earlier? 2000. I don't know. I lived in Nashville then.
Yeah, I can't even spell his name to look him up. There we go. Good old Google. Good old Google knows what you're looking for. Yeah, he had, of course, a great career, but there was one particular season that was just off the charts, and that was probably
senior year when he beat up Texas and Colorado, and he was a monster. But we're just talking. My point is that you had 2 guys, one defensive tackle and a quarterback that both ended up second in the Heisman Trophy voting. That both hands down were probably the best player in the country. I mean, obviously Suh was the best player in the country.
I hit it. 2009.
Was it? Okay. Yeah.
20.5 tackles for loss, 12 sacks, 85.
Now
and those are stats, and you can't even with him go by stats because he got double, triple teamed, all that business. So, yep, he was a force, and he's still kicking.
Yep. Yeah, just won a Super Bowl alongside Levante David. So, yeah, a couple of proud Huskers there.
All right, folks, appreciate you all being here for Nebraska Live. Bring some other folks in with you. Next Tuesday, we'll be here with Greg at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. In the meantime, join Greg on Husker Online video right here on YouTube or the actual website, huskeronline.com. I'm here every day on the various channels along with guests all over the place talking college football. We've got a Michigan show if you want to hear that side of it. Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And Greg's going to jump on with us on the Michigan show as well. That'll be a good time.
Blue. Yeah.
That's it.
Go Blue.
All right, Greg. Appreciate it, man. As always.
Absolutely. Looking forward. Hey, this, like I've said many times already tonight, this is going to be a great game. Everybody needs to tune into this game. Obviously, Nebraska, Michigan fans will, but I think this will be a good one for the whole country to get involved with on Saturday night.
And before I forget, talk about a great game. I've got an Iowa Penn State live stream preview coming up at 10 o'clock Eastern time with a Penn State guest, Iowa guest. We got it all covered, so that's going to be another great one, of course. And we're going to preview that at 10 Eastern. All right, man. You have a great week. We'll see you back here next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Take care, brother.